Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Good to see you all. So hello, RG. If anybody has not checked out RG, that's RG Homestead, and they live up here near me somewhere.
I got
So
it.
they're in northern Arizona also.
I'll
Living
get
off
their
grid.
link up.
Oh, thank you. Good morning or afternoon or evening, Syed Mom's Kitchen. I always want to say good morning because it's 10 a.m. my time, but I recognize it's not that time everywhere else. Hey, Hugo Homestead and Mickelson Family Homestead. Good to see you all. Thank you all for joining us.
Hey, Kelly. Welcome in.
Yeah. RGUR, your property's looking great. He has done so much on his property out there. You know, for homesteaders, yep, we do all get there whether we like it or not.
Well, he said for an old guy, he's doing fine. I said, well,
Yeah,
I'm an old woman, so I get it.
I totally get it too. I mean, I'm hoping I don't look too old too soon, but sometimes I feel it, let me tell you. And what we've
Hey.
been working on has had me feeling it lately.
Hey, Berkshire Farm.
Hey,
Welcome in.
Berkshire Farm. Congratulations to Berkshire Farm. They were, they moved off grid, kind of, right? Pretty much. I can't remember how off grid you guys are, Berkshire Farm. And they have been building their home. So they finally got it. I think I just saw a video where it's like their first night in the house. What an
Oh,
accomplishment.
yeah, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. And RG, he's saying he's about 15 miles from us. So like when you talk John H, oh my goodness. Good to see you, my Scottish friend. What time is it there?
Hey, LP.
Hey LP. So and it's the Fox family. Hey, Fox Holler Homestead. Good to see you all.
Hey, Dusty.
So up here, the homesteaders who really get that piece of land and they start building, it's just a whole nother beast. You know, we deal with the dry climate. It's just hard. The ground is hard. Where we're at, it's like cinders. 6:03 p.m. It's 10 a.m. here. Thank you for joining us, John.
Hey, Kill It and Grill It. So, speaking of that, I don't anybody who's got the electric net fencing for animals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my word. It
What
works
happened?
great.
Does it?
It works great when
Mm-hmm.
you have dirt,
Mm-hmm.
and it works great when you can get it in the ground. But here, when we get so dry, and Kill It and Grill It can probably relate to this. I don't know if he's used electric net, but we've had our net fencing in the same place for a while now because the ladies had the babies. So
Uh-huh.
they're not really pasturing much.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to be, long story short, they have to be in their pen for a while before they gave birth, and then they had to stay in their pen for the first 2 to 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they're like, Eleanor goes out for a couple hours a day. Well, let me tell you something. It was dry here, and those fences aren't coming up. I'm sitting there pulling.
Oh no.
And Ryan's like, what is your problem? And I'm like, I can't get those darn things pulled up. And then we got tons of rocks. So every time you go to put it in the ground, you hit a rock.
Yep.
But they are great. Don't get me wrong. That's
Mm-hmm.
just our landscape.
Yeah.
But
How
you
was
talked
the
about ground.
Yes, and how was the pricing on those?
I'm going to lay it out there for you.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a very cheap poultry one because it was cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Works to keep piglets in. But there's definitely a difference between the cheapie
Uh-huh.
and the Premier One.
Mm-hmm.
I bought Premier One hog starter fence setup, and it was probably $400 to $500 worth every penny.
How many foot was it? How many feet of it?
I don't know. It came with 2 sections of fence and a solar charger.
Oh, and
The
it
only,
comes with a solar charger too?
yeah,
'Cause I was
well, it
curious
was a
about that.
whole startup kit.
Very cool. Was that the cheap one or the expensive one?
That was the expensive one.
Okay.
And so the only problem we had is the solar.
Uh-huh.
We have not had luck with solar.
The
They die
trees.
on us. We had one on the fence that we were using that was not from Premier One. We had one from Premier One. They both died.
Huh.
And because of the price of them, you
Uh-huh.
pay more for a solar one up front than you do an electric.
Yeah.
We mounted an electric one and just plugged it in.
Huh.
But, you know, it could be, here's the thing, they died completely. It
Huh.
wasn't just that we weren't getting enough sun, but
Yeah.
they just died completely.
Oh, gotcha. Hey, Texas Red Leg. Thanks for coming in and kill it and grill it. I know Lisa already said hi to you, but I didn't have a chance yet. So, hello.
But I just, that's one thing I will say. The other one is Starkline Netting is another big company that I have not had. But I got the poultry netting one for, I think it was on sale for like $120 at Runnings, which isn't like a Tractor Supply. Yeah.
I wonder if, like, so it comes with a solar setup, and you said that's kind of crappy.
Well, no, we had a problem with it. Other people use them all the time, no problem. We just
Huh.
have not had luck with solar.
And it has nothing to do with shade or lack of sunlight.
No, because the batteries actually, like within a year, were dead. That's it. It won't charge.
Oh, I gotcha. Hey, Barb.
But I see a lot of homesteaders use them, love them, have no problem. So the only thing is with the hog netting, I find the Premier one is really great to move around. It's a lot easier. But the problem is ours is hog netting, so it's got squares this big. Which means the chickens go through it all the time, which is fine. But if you have piglets, they're going to go through it without getting zapped. So we have the poultry netting for the piglets. But once they get big enough, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Hey, Barbs.
You know, since we're talking about fencing, sorry, there's a fly here driving me crazy.
Welcome to my world.
It's that time of the year too, boy. Flies and mosquitoes. For anybody in the chat who has goats, can you tell me, like, my daughter said that her goats are breaking through the fencing and she feels like they need to get chain link fencing, which is so ugly. I think chain link fencing is so ugly, but
if you do a high enough fence, I think they'd be fine.
Well, he said they're actually breaking the welds on the cattle fencing and getting
you have goats on steroids or what?
It's the bucks, the ornery little bucks.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not getting goats.
Good to know on that for horses. We don't have horses anymore, but it's still good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Is it net fence? So it's like, the cattle fencing. So yeah,
like
I guess
cattle panel.
They're little squares like what you were describing. But
so is it the roll of fencing that you buy? Okay, so it's like page wire fencing. Where yeah.
I'll take your word for that because I don't know what it's called.
We in New England we always called it page wire fencing, but Mickelson just put something down there, 3 and a 5 line.
Electric fence, and goats get zapped and don't mess with it. Did you feel it? Because we were pricing it, and for, the chain link comes in 50-foot rolls, and it's like $109 at Home Depot's. And we checked Home Depot's in various locations, shall we say, and it seems to be pretty standard even in, neighboring states.
Fencing is expensive.
It is.
You want to know something? We bought a roll of, and I forget what to call it because we call it hot wire.
Mm-hmm.
We bought a roll of metal hot wire that
Uh-huh.
was so big. We got it on clearance. This is
Uh-huh.
before we had the pigs.
Uh-huh.
We are still using that wire,
Wow.
and we have used it for a ton of stuff. And if you
Huh.
look at like just make sure it's high tensile wire, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um but if
Mm.
I don't know about goats, but I know that they make this ribbon tape that's electric, and they make this braided wire. My
Uh-huh.
understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is those are for more temporary situations because they
Mm-hmm.
will rot, whereas wire will last longer, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
if it isn't messed with. But I will tell you this: we look for our fencing supplies. Um, we look for cattle panel, hog panel, and chicken wire and other kinds of fencing wire at yard sales.
Mm-hmm.
We look at Craigslist. We look all
Yeah.
over and we stock up on them
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
to have them on hand. But other things we've done is we have bought rolls of chicken wire, like when we did the meat bird pen and the pheasant. We
Mm-hmm.
bought it and we shopped around for the best on sale, but they were brand new. Hey, Garden
Mm-hmm.
State Gardener. Hope you're doing well,
Hey,
Joe.
Joe.
But yeah, we try to stock up because we know we'll need it. So we always have rolls on hand.
Hog panels versus hog rolled fence should work. Make them taut.
You know what else we use? We have a female piglet who is like mother. It's like mother like daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Fiona likes to get out sometimes and
Uh-huh.
take off. What we do is we took some of that orange plastic fencing that they have, like I have on my raspberries.
Mm-hmm.
I had to put it around the inside of the cattle panel because the little one snuck right
Mm-hmm.
between the bars.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Gear Gryden.
Hey,
Hey,
Uncle
Uncle
Al.
Al.
And here, hey, Gear Gryden.
Yeah,
Keeping. What did he just say?
you got to keep the grass or brush
Mm-hmm.
cutter on the other side. And if you have net fencing, you have to maintain it or
Mm-hmm.
it keeps shorting out.
Mm-hmm. Good to know.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll move, excuse me, I'll move the fencing and weed whack along where the fence is, and then I put it back.
Yeah.
What breed of goats does your daughter have? Kelly at Mickelson wants to know.
She has the shoot, what are they called?
Nigerian dwarf?
Thank you. I knew it was an N.
I thought
Yes.
it was, but I wanted to make sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And she has a she has an Instagram. I don't know. I don't have Instagram, so I don't keep it up, but her thing, I don't know if it's a page or what you call it, channel.
Her account to follow is Katie the Goat Lady, right?
Yep.
With a
And
K.
Katie is Kayti.
I love her.
I love her too. Yeah, and she's got 9 goats right now, and she loves them. They're her babies. Because I'm the kind like I'm like, so what you doing with them bucks? What are them bucks doing for you other than you feeding them? And I mean, how many? At some point, I don't know. I guess I'm thinking like, get rid of the bucks because you have kids from them. You need different bucks on the property. That's what I'm thinking. Like the kids are going to
Yep.
grow, and if you want to breed them,
Yep.
obviously you're not going to want to go that route. But she's like, but I like them. I love them. She loves her animals. She's always been like that. We've had so many animals. Hey, Constitutional Living.
Hey, Constitutional Living. Barb's Country Home said, I feel like I'm surrounded by chicken wire, fencing, hardware, cloth, cages, and gates. Yeah, you are.
So Constitutional Living was previously Kentucky Patriot
Yep.
Pepper. Sorry y'all had trouble with that name.
Hope the new name works out for you.
Yeah. I feel like I'm surrounded by chicken wire, fencing, hardware, cloth, cages.
Yeah, and Barb's Country Home, we have out of the 7 that we hatched, we see that we have at least 2 roosters.
Mm-hmm.
They are
I
out there going.
I have to share a story, Barb. Look past the fencing. You got animals around you that are full of love for you. I'm going to share I have an aunt, bless her soul. She's no longer with us, but she was a very fancy lady. I drove her nuts because just growing up, I always preferred to be in jeans and boots.
Yeah.
When I actually did want to wear anything like dress, at some point every girl wears a dress. So she was thrilled to death to take me shopping. My favorite aunt for sure. But it was funny because we had property, we had horses, and we had a lot of land out in the front. Like the horses would kind of, go around. Our house was behind a gate, so we could let them be everywhere. And she comes over and she's like, "You let them out front?" And you could see out the kitchen dining room window. I'm looking out there and I see my horses. She looks out there, she sees horse crap. I'm like, "What do you mean? It's beautiful. Like irrigated land, can't go wrong." It was gorgeous, right? And it was the craziest thing, just the
Oh
craziest.
yeah.
It's all what you choose to see.
I was
Yeah.
telling Barb so we have at least 2 roosters. We think there might be a third now.
Uh-huh.
But I have somebody that we know and trust locally that wants to do rent a hen with us.
Uh-huh.
So what that is
Huh.
they pay per bird to lease it, and they approached us. So we hatched
Uh-huh.
those birds. We're going to do that with them if it all works out. And so how that'll work is they'll have the chickens from May to October, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll get them back. So I wanted a separate flock for that. And
Huh.
it's just funny because like I need to have 5 hens.
Wow.
The pressure's on.
So people rent your hens?
Yeah, if somebody has a situation where they want to
Mhm.
enjoy the chickens, and I think
Mhm.
Sandy at Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona has that situation. You'll get them for so many months of the year, but you're not able to commit. So for like Sandy, she goes to another home part
Uh-huh.
of the year, and so she can't have them all year, and so that's how she is able to have chickens, get fresh eggs, but then she can
Oh,
return them.
very cool.
So somebody approached us to do that, and we want to do
Mhm.
that, and so that's why we hatched extra chickens because we had our flock affected by that dog attack,
Uh-huh.
and at the same point we also need eggs because we're selling out all the time.
That is awesome,
So
Lisa.
I'm trying to add chickens so we have enough to get the eggs and also do the others. So it's
Mhm.
pretty cool because it'll be May to October.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And wow. So and it produces a revenue stream for you?
Yep. Well, I
Wow.
have one person who's approached me, but we will
Yeah,
try to do it. Yeah.
very cool. Hey, squirrels, magnet fishing and outdoors. Good to see you.
And I did want to let everybody know that all of the piglets have sold, except for the 2
Woohoo!
we're keeping,
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
and we've named them. So we'll stay tuned for that.
My daughter needs to find out about the goat rental. Needs to look into that.
She can rent a buck
Wow.
for service.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and they're pretty goats. She does. She has some here in Arizona. They call them flashy. That's the word they use for goats too. I guess because they come from a show goat line. So something about their back. For horses we called it sway back.
Yep.
So, yeah, but I guess they've got good back lines, and then they've got like the blue eyes and the pretty spots and whatnot. I guess they're called flashy. That's what she says. So that would be for a
Yeah.
breeding duck for sure. Yeah, I'll have to tell her about that. I don't know if she's heard of that or not.
And if anybody wants to rent a rooster, contact Barb's Country Home.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, they rent the goats to clean up the weeds. That's something, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious. So RG brought this up. He's been seeing hybrid coyotes or Mexican wolf. He can't quite tell. He's got great game cam videos, but Animal wise, what are the kinds of predators that you guys tend to have the biggest problem with in your areas that you have to overcome? We saw,
Ironic, ironically, we had a neighborhood dog. That's the main predator. We have coyotes. They've walked through the property. We have skunks. We have mountain lions.
mm-hmm.
But the only one that we've had a problem with, knock on wood, is a golden doodle.
Oh my goodness. A golden doodle. Who would think?
It was, well, but what they do is
What
they
the heck?
kill it until it's dead, and then the game's
They
over.
play with it and then yeah, play with
And
it to
I'm
be.
I'm gonna let you answer. I'm gonna post some links
Mhm.
for these folks.
So where I lived before when we had animals, because when we moved where we are right now, my husband and I have not had animals here. My daughter has had, she has the goats. Of course, we have dogs, but animal, part human, however you want to look at those guys. But we've had coyotes and owls. I had an owl get a cat that we had, a family cat. And
Oh, we had an owl.
we're not super huge cat people, but um, RG mountain lions, bobcats, coyotes, and badger. My word. Barb's country home, possums, hawks, raccoons, and skunks. Do the skunks go after your animals? Are those predators, or are they just like you just got to be wary of them coming around and pilfering and then getting sprayed by them?
We've had. I always forget the hawks because I just consider that daily. To me, like, I mean, we have eagles here.
Mhm.
We have
Yeah,
we have bald eagles. We have
mhm,
all that stuff. We have
mhm,
hawks.
mhm,
Um, we did have an owl get some chickens.
mhm.
We
The
do have
owls seem to
deer.
do it more than the hawks or the eagles, though, right? Like I haven't. I know that. So we used to have a lot of Chiweenie puppies. Not that we bred them, but they bred themselves. You end up with puppies, and then you have family and stuff that gets them. We had that, but and one of theirs, my son's girlfriend's, one of the puppies that she got, it ended up having to, she had to put it down because a predator bird tried to come get it, and I think it might have been a hawk. But other than that, we've never had them try to come and take our dogs or harm the goats or anything, or the chickens or anything like that. And there's a lot of hawks up here. They don't seem to be as prone to doing that for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
Joe, Garden State Gardener, groundhog, raccoons, fox, deer. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a channel called Rob Painless. So Rob, like Robert, Rob, and
Yeah.
then last name Painless. He has a video that he just put up on shooting and cleaning, and then he shares the link to the video of his friends and eating a groundhog, or wasn't a groundhog, it was a prairie dog. I didn't know you could even eat those things.
Oh, yeah. They're a big thing out here.
Are they? I didn't know
Yeah.
people even ate those.
We had to take care of a marmot one time, just because he was doing a lot of damage to the barns, like he was trying to get underneath the barns. Um, and so I had enough of them.
I didn't know this about skunks either, that they killed chickens and go
Yep.
after their eggs.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Kill It and Grill It had a hawk killed 25 chickens in one day. Oh
Yep.
my gosh. Was it like a flock of them? No, I guess it was one. Had to get permission to shoot it.
Not if no one sees it. uh, yeah. Yep.
We all have to keep in mind, if we ever move or anything, the different kinds of predators out there that we don't have to deal with raccoons here. Coyotes, like RG said.
Bear Truth asked if you and your husband are going to be playing any bluegrass on Bushcraft Channel tonight.
No, but I will be watching that. I will be watching. We have a huge project that we've been working on that we'll be sharing in the next couple of weeks now. So a couple weeks away from that has really taken all of our time. It's been taking up tons of time.
Yeah.
So not as much fun time. I think as far as like my 7Fs go, that fun one, I'm going to make sure that my last quarter of the year, so October, November, and December, I better be enjoying myself all the time.
Yes. Yes.
I think I've gotten all my work stuff put in there. That one's kind of, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Lisa? When you're thinking about like your goals that you wanted to get done this year, is there any that you're still thinking, okay, later, like October, November, December, I'm going to be able to do whatever?
Canning. And that's because we don't get a large enough harvest.
Uh-huh.
So, you see people pulling in their tomatoes and their onions, and they got bushels and bushels. I don't get that.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've taken our little small early girl tomatoes that are this big, and I've been pouring them and putting them in a Ziploc in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to can them because I want to can something.
Yeah.
And so, hey, back to nature. And so that has been on the back burner just because I could can produce from elsewhere. In fact, we're going to buy some green beans and all that stuff, but we just don't get a large enough harvest to can. And I'm not doing it for one jar of salsa. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat it fresh instead.
Right.
So that kind of thing. But I have been doing, that's the biggest thing. I think everything else, like we did the turkeys, and we're coming to the end of not only hatching them, but we're almost to the end of the meat turkeys, them being put to freezer camp. We did the piglets. I do have a rant, but I'm going to hold off because I'm on Mtn Grandma's channel.
Oh, go ahead and rant. I love to hear you rant. I appreciate your energy.
Okay, I'll make it quick.
Okay.
Yes, and I wouldn't eat the prairie dogs either, but people love it. Kill it.
If I was hungry, I would.
Yeah, if I was hungry,
Ooh, they carry the plague?
They're dirty little things.
Ooh,
anyway.
I didn't know that.
So here's my rant. So if you're a homesteader and you're on YouTube and you're getting all your 411 and your information, please do your research. That's my rant, and I'm going to tell you why. We castrated piglets this past weekend, and we lost one. And it was one of Eleanor's, so it was a perfectly healthy piglet otherwise. Castrating is pretty cut and dry, and everybody shows cut and dry castrations. Nobody talks about if they have I don't know if I can use the terminology. I'm going to say hernia down in the location where you castrate. So very quickly, a textbook castration turns into an awful situation that you're not prepared for. And that's why I didn't even post a video yesterday. I haven't posted about it because I'm still very disturbed by it. Mtn Grandma knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I'm not going to get into details. I don't think it's worth it. But just something to think about. I feel like we hit the trifecta of issues with this litter of the things that nobody talks about. Like we had one piglet who was born without a bottom end, so to speak. I put in my video, and then we had two that have a hernia. A rupture. And when you go to castrate, lots of stuff come out that shouldn't come out. I'm going to leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, because we don't have a pig vet here who will help me, I have found a very old school vet
Mm-hmm.
who, bless this man's heart, because he is extremely old. He's a veteran. He is got a heart. I begged him on the phone this morning, and he's doing the remaining two because we think the one has the same problem. But I think the biggest thing for me was that we lost one
Mm-hmm.
that, had I known what was going on, I could have sought out somebody to help me versus being in a situation where it had to be culled. So I just want to throw that out there. It does suck.
Yeah.
It does suck. LP, I trust me, I wish I could ban them. Pigs can't be banned, but man, do I wish they could be banded. If I could get a hold of chemical stuff to do it, I'd even do that. But anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah. I think
Just
that that's really, I hope that you do share a video on that, because that's valuable information for people to have.
when you get into a situation that is textbook,
Mm-hmm.
and then you realize you're so far over your head
Mm-hmm.
and you have a life
Mm-hmm.
that is suffering.
Yeah.
Whew.
I know.
Don't get me wrong. I know it's farm life and I get that. But
Mm-hmm.
if I wasn't human,
Yeah.
I think there'd be bigger issues. But
Yeah.
thank you.
But you
Yeah.
still love your farm animals, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, let's look at it from the farm side. That's money lost
Mm-hmm.
because that piglet could have been sold, in addition to the emotional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kick yourself about why, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Could I have done that? Those kinds of questions. Yeah.
There was nothing we could have done.
Awful
It was,
experience.
we didn't know, we didn't
But
have.
you know now. I mean,
Yep.
it's that's the, part of the whole farming thing, and the heartbreak. The heartbreak. Those are the things that, the things that hit your heart. Those are the things that we learn from the most, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring it down, but I share that with you because sometimes on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
that is not shared.
Mm-mm.
And, we were joking on my live about taping it and all that stuff. I'm so glad I didn't. But yeah, absolutely, Barb. It was awful, Barb. Awful. But such a waste.
Mm-hmm.
But I am so grateful that I found a vet to be able to handle the remaining two,
Mm-hmm.
because we won't lose another one, because those two we're keeping.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
but
the thing is, when he comes and he does that, then you guys are going to have the opportunity to see somebody else do that, what you did. And I feel like, I know a lot of people like to, and they can take care of their own animals and not get vets involved, and huge respect for the people that do that. But I don't know, we've had to take our animals and had to involve a vet. And every time we learn something, every time.
absolutely, and please understand, I'm not anti-vet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not rich, but I'm just telling you, we have the means to be able to take them to a vet. So if we're able to take them to a vet, we
Mm-hmm.
would. It's just
Yeah.
that nobody here treats swine.
Yeah.
So, but I found this old school guy who's got his own challenges, and
Mm-hmm.
he's really sweet because he helped me out with the other one that needed to be euthanized. So that was a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it is Uncle Al, and most of it was textbook, but then the one just went south pretty quick. So sometimes you got to be prepared for that, is why I bring that up. Hey, Country Mama Musings.
Hey,
But anyway,
Alicia.
enough of the down stuff. And
I
let's
have a
get
question for everybody. So
yeah.
you've heard about, and Lisa, I mentioned this to you, and I don't have time to do it right now, and I don't care if anybody else does it too. Like Lisa, if you want to do what I mentioned to you that I think would be a great idea and get it rolling, I think that would be awesome. Would the people that are here in the chat, would you be interested in seeing or participating in a collaboration that was focused on how to treat something with animal health? With, like, for example, what Lisa's talking about. If that was like, if she shared that experience and how, like, basically really dive into one specific thing regarding animal health, treating a sick animal, the castrating, just being very specific, and the what can go wrong, and really talking about how you treated how you took care of a situation, or how what you learned from it, how you would do it next time, including if you took them to the vet, because I recently had to take our little blind dog to the vet, and I didn't know she was bleeding. We woke up, she had like a quarter cup of blood in her dog bed, and then we found like this. I'm not even exaggerating, a blood clot like this big, almost like a small, maybe almost like a little bit smaller than a golf ball blood clot on our back porch because we have a dog door. And my husband looked in her mouth. It looked like it was coming from her throat. She also has cancer. So we took her down because she wouldn't stop bleeding like all day. And how the vet treated it, what they gave them. And then you learn something from the medications too, because the medications are, most of the time what you're using on an animal is what you use on people too. So you gain this knowledge of how to treat that scenario, maybe something similar, what you could have done to avoid the vet trip. And then you learn something about those medications that are good for animals and dosages and things like that. Just kind of sharing that experience. I feel like it would be amazingly valuable. But what is
It
everybody
sounds
else?
like you've got people who are willing to do it. I will speak for myself. I might do it, but it would have to be after the piglets were gone into their new homes.
Yeah. Yep.
I just don't want to do it right now.
Yeah. I can't do it right now either. So for me, it's going to be like several weeks away. If anybody wants to initiate that collaboration or something, I am totally cool with that too, and I'll join you. It's just going to be a couple of weeks before I do that.
So it looks like Berkshire Farm and Barb's Country
Mhm.
Home.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome because that's, sometimes we can take them to the vet, sometimes we can't. Whether it's due to a issue of cost, or when we took my dog to the vet, we have a vet urgent care. She got put on a list and we were taking her down. It was like, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night. Lisa, I was texting you, bless your heart. I had her up late because she's an hour ahead of me.
My pleasure.
But I just feel like it would be so valuable to see how other people handle certain scenarios. And I was given a medication that was amazing for her, and I'll save that for my video, but it's also amazing for people, basically to stop the bleeding. And I'm all about herbs, and it happened to be a traditional Chinese medicine, and it worked wonders. And when I researched it, it can also be used for humans, for gunshot wounds, for internal hemorrhaging. And I found out that midwives carry it with them, in case a mother who gives birth after birth starts to hemorrhage, or just has too much bleeding. Alicia, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so behind on the Afghan, but there's a reason for it. I will share that with you.
It's there. You'll be able to do it
I
in wintertime.
will.
That's what I will do.
Yes, I have every intention of going back and watching her videos for the heirloom Afghan, and every square that's done. I'm not giving it up. I still want to finish that. So just
Kill it
see.
and grill it said information on accidental pet poisoning would be helpful. I think I
Mhm.
agree. Hey, where to
Yeah,
begin? Hey, Susan's ramblings.
I agree. And if anybody's had any experience with snake bites, what
Did
do
you?
you?
I'm laughing, but did you know that there is a rattlesnake uh, vaccination? that your dogs can get?
No. Can you get it at the vet store? Like, at a regular old
I don't know, but I
store?
know that my vet offers it. My
Very
dog
cool.
vet.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because in the bad, like if you're over in the bad near the Badlands, there's a ton of rattlesnakes, and if you're down south of us, there's a lot of rattlesnakes.
Huh. Interesting. We're supposed to have timber rattlers up here in northern Arizona. I don't know if RG is still on, but I have yet to even run across one, and we've been all up through the woods.
Yeah, I've not seen a snake since we moved in here, thankfully.
Mm-mm. No.
Oh, Kill It and Grill It said his dog was vaccinated for rattlesnakes. Yeah,
Really?
absolutely.
Huh.
Absolutely.
I didn't know they did that. I'm
Yep.
learning a lot today.
There was an Instagram account called Tickle Pig and Friends. They have a pig named Tickle. She's a Juliana pig.
Aw.
She got her husband, the woman went in, I'm sorry, the woman's husband went in to look at the pig and lifted the bowl, and the snake was coiled up under the bowl, and
Oh
it
my
had already
gosh.
bit the pig.
Oh no.
And luckily, they had to search for the anti-venom, but they were able to save the pig because it's a pet for them. They breed
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. Remember, my other daughter has her Juliana pigs,
Yep.
and she got a boyfriend for the pig, so there was a boar in there, and they had a baby, one baby piglet, and the mama laid on the piglet. Is the only thing she can figure out, because she went out there in the morning and it was gone.
No worries where to begin. Yeah, that happens. Like Eleanor, it's funny.
Mhm.
Eleanor started out being a new mama and kind of challenging, but she's turned out to be absolutely amazing. Fiona's kind of like I like to lay on my babies here and there kind of mama.
Mhm. Oh.
So I hear a squeal and I go, Fiona, and she jumps up.
That's awesome.
She's
Though.
responsive. She'll jump up, but she
Yeah.
just. Ugh. So, real quick, I wonder if we should just see if anybody has any questions on their goal plans. I know we had we had so much going on that we just kind of threw things together today.
We did. I hope you all have found value in the chat. I have found value in today's call. You all answered questions about fencing. Any questions for us?
That's interesting that just while we're waiting, that's interesting that the rattlesnake vaccine is a series of 3 shots annually. Jeez.
Yeah. I wonder if you get one less, or if it's like, every 2 years, if there's, I always feel like the pharma likes to sell us on more than we really need, to be honest.
Yeah,
And I can say this because I have worked in that industry. I feel like my opinion counts. Not that I'm 100% right, but for example, the medication I was given for my dog, I didn't give her all of it. She's just fine.
Joe at Garden State Gardener said goal planning for him this fall and winter is clean up and fence my property. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And then Gear Griden says, what you growing for fall?
So I recently had to gift some of my plants, and you guys will find out more about that in the next couple of weeks. I was intentionally keeping them in that state where I could. Hey, Cottonwood Ranch and Fallen Arkansas veterans. Charles, good to see you. Hi, Virginia Alexander.
Hey, everybody. No fall gardening here.
I want to fall garden so bad. So we're going to see, but you got that greenhouse. Good.
We'll leave the greenhouse going and everything like that as long as we can. But like our broccoli has been growing all summer, and we're starting to get broccoli heads now. So let's call that our fall garden.
That's a huge win. I failed at broccoli last year and didn't try it this year. Kill It and Grill It. You got a question here, and I'm interested in hearing the answer to that one too.
Yeah, I don't know. You may have to ask the vet.
I want to get some. We'll have to see what I can get in the ground, what I can grow in the house. But I'm definitely going to be doing more fall gardening because I feel like I missed out a little bit this season. And we've had tons of rain here too. It would have been awesome. I still got onions and potatoes out there to harvest. And
Yep.
yeah, but I had one tomato plant that survived that I gifted to somebody, and they're super excited. It was our adopted son, Nathan, that was telling you about, Lisa. I gave
Yeah.
him tomato plants, some kale, some Swiss chard that was beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Cottonwood Ranch. Yeah. We have kale. We're just starting to get our harvest now, you know, and we'll be hitting frost soon. Look at Kill It and Grill It's profile picture with those fish.
Those
It's
are some
awesome.
awesome fish. Are those largemouth? I can't see real good.
That is so cool. I'm gonna keep putting my tomatoes in the freezer bag so I can can, and my onions when they come out, and my potatoes we plan to freeze dry to preserve them, because no matter how much you put them away to store them and you cure them, they still just keep growing in the closet there. So I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I still plan on, with the canning, Lisa, I'm not going to have a huge harvest for canning. That's another thing that I want to do this year between October and December, is to try to do some canning. And the one kind of canning I feel like I need to practice the most is the pressure canning, because I don't have one. So I'm about right. I'm going to have a pressure canner within the next month. And I've done the water bath canning of the jams and jellies and, the things you can water bath can, but I really want to try to pressure can meat. So
Yeah.
that's something I'm going to try this year,
Yeah.
before the end of the year. And I'll feel like that'll be something, because you know how nervous you get the first time you do it, and then you can get better after that. But it's nerve-wracking that first time around.
Yeah, I worry about keeping the pressure steady, so we'll see how it goes. But we'll do it. We've got some stuff to do. We bought a pressure canner, and then I do have one of those electric ones.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think I got to get a new stove.
Yeah. I know a stove can totally make the difference too. I want to get one that you can put on the stove top for that reason, because if the
Yep.
electric goes out and you can't can, you're kind of screwed.
Yep.
The other thing that I was still hoping to get in better shape this year, and it's kind of a fluid project, it's not like something you just do and it's done, but I want to get like a new binder for like my herbal medicine reference binder, and really get that in order. And I feel like I started that project and I didn't finish it, and I'm not happy with the binder that I have. That's kind of what it boils down to. I want something better. I want some, paper protectors in there. Otherwise, all of the papers get kind of. But that's something else I want to work on this year, at least to buy the binder that I want,
Yeah.
and the supplies to be able to do that well.
Awesome. Kill It and Grill It says, I think the Presto Mod 21 pound is the best canner for the money. Good to know. Yeah, I got a Presto used, which was awesome. Brand new, like.
That's awesome.
What are you water bath canning, Barb? I'm curious, while we're waiting for Barb to answer, I'm curious if anybody has any questions on, like, goal planning and stuff like that. And
And do you have any questions for us?
yeah.
I have a question for you, Lisa, while they're coming up with their questions. I don't know if I'm guessing somebody. I kind of want to gauge somebody else's thoughts and opinions on this, but how do you feel about the goal setting this year that we did? And do you feel like it kind of kept you on track or motivated you? Or do you think that it maybe pushed you to do a little more than you might have otherwise? I don't know that would be the case, but I'm just curious about how you feel about it. Honestly.
Yeah. So, always. Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, when it came to the turkeys and the piglets, that
Mm-hmm.
was going to happen either way.
Yep.
I think the other way, it definitely was a good motivator and good push to have
Mm-hmm.
somebody who was going to say, "Hey, it's Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are you doing?"
What'd you do last week?
Yeah, nothing.
I feel
um,
like that's the case for me too. Like there's certain things I would have done anyways, whether I wrote it down or not. But I'm that kind of person that wants to do so much that I will lose some of the things. I'll have so many little things that I want to do that if I don't keep track of where my time is going and what I'm spending my time on, that some of the things are going to get lost. But um, our biggest project, we would have done it anyways. But I feel like the weekly chats we have are motivational for me,
yes.
and they remind me, what did I want to do? Like I'll sit here and I'll go back, what were my goals again? What did I say I wanted to do in January? What was I all hyped up about wanting to accomplish?
Yep.
Um, and then you reassess, and sometimes your goals you change. And oh, here we go. Yes, every year I say next year. Next year I'm having a smaller garden, now up to 16 5-gallon buckets, and see what motivation can do for a person.
Well, I think that's the thing too. Like I pick stuff that we were gonna do anyway. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
So,
because that's
you
what you
know,
do.
whereas you were picking things maybe that were lofty for you, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that uh
Always.
Barb's country home is water bathing her tomatoes. She said we're gonna starve in
Mm-hmm.
$50 February 2023.
Me too,
Yeah,
Barb.
we're gonna eat a lot of meat, Barb. We're not gonna have a lot of vegetables.
Hmm.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
it is a great idea.
Yeah, I'm putting all mine, I'm coring them and I'm rinsing them off, drying them, and then I'm um, freezing them in a Ziploc bag so I can have a bunch of them. The sweetheart cherry tomatoes, we've been actually eating them fresh because to me, you're growing a garden, you
Yeah,
want to be able to eat it fresh,
yeah,
and I'm just eating it fresh, and then whatever we can, I'm trying to do something with.
yeah.
Barb, you got them roosters. But I totally get where you're coming from.
I don't know about you, Barb, but I tell my husband when I'm planting all these seeds, I'm like, well, they're not all going to live. Like, I lose a couple, like, some of the seeds don't produce, right? And then when I transplant them into Dixie cups, I lose some during that process. And then when they go from Dixie cups to the ground, I might lose one. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I always try to plant a lot because I know they're not all gonna survive for me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I wanted to grow loofahs this year.
Oh, have you seen mine? I'll have to
I
send you
did.
pictures.
I saw the video where you were sharing your loofahs. Did you say you had like one or two on the vine right now that were little?
I have like 3 now
Awesome.
that are teeny. They're not going to
Mhm.
make it. I mean, because they're not even the width of my finger.
They're gonna
Hey,
run out of
Heathwood
time.
Frontier Survival.
Hey, French
Um,
survival.
yeah, I mean, so that's what's funny about it. They're not going to make
Mhm.
it, but
Yeah.
it's all
So
right.
next year will have to be earlier.
And I laugh because everybody's got loofah in the South where the loofah takes over the entire fence, and we've got like 3 trails.
I know. I
It's
know.
all good.
Trust me. I know. I feel your pain there.
I will say this is the first year we've been able to grow cucumbers here. First year that we've actually had red tomatoes in July and August.
Hmm.
And what was the other thing we grew? The quinoa is growing in the greenhouse.
Awesome.
And what was the other thing that the first time we've been able to grow? Gosh, I'm trying to think. Oh, peppers, bell peppers. My
Huh.
outdoor cucumber is this big. My outdoor pepper is this big. My
Wow.
greenhouse
That's
ones are
awesome.
loaded with peppers,
Wow, that is
loaded with
awesome.
cucumbers. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we've already made a batch of refrigerator pickles. We're going to do another one probably
Very,
today.
very cool. Any questions? Any other questions from anybody?
I don't see any.
Yeah, I feel like when I do this all the time, Lisa. I do have tons of little goals of what I want to accomplish, and because I have so many things that I think are fun, that's part of my problem. And then, of course, if I'm doing it for fun, I want to be like really good at whatever I'm doing, whether it's sewing or crocheting or you know, the soap making. And one thing I didn't get to this year was making cold processed soap. The year is not yet over, though. I might still try to do that one. Um, just all of that kind of stuff I love. And then, I've got music as a hobby. So a friend of ours gave me a fiddle, and I was really wanting to learn how to play the fiddle. That's something I always wanted to learn how to play. And I always tell people, if you want to do it, well, just do it. You got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? It takes time. So if you spend a little bit of time now, a little bit of time later, you'll eventually get to maybe a point where you're happy with your progress and you're good with it. So that's where it comes for me, is just so many hobbies, so many fun things I want to do, and I want to do them all well.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
Barb's Country Home said, I'm growing what we can eat, can't eat loofah, but you can use it to sell stuff. You can use it at home.
Yeah.
And then
Use
kill
it
it
as
and
a
grill it.
sponge.
Yeah, kill it and grill it said, do you feel the weather is changing? Do you mean like for the season? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. One of the nights they had said there a few nights they predicted for the 40s. We've had the heat lamp on for the smaller piglets. Dear Gryden's got a goal there. Don't hold me to it, but a goal for next year is to have tomatoes ready to plant about end of summer. Yeah.
Yes, your greenhouse, Lisa.
Yes. That's made a huge
Thank you,
difference.
Joe. Yeah, we've been getting colder here. I don't know how it is in the Midwest, kill it and grill it, but here in northern Arizona, it's been getting in the low 50s at night, and just we've had beautiful weather. Like it's like, the low 70s to mid 70s during the day. Just
Yep.
beautiful.
Barb, don't stress out. You got this. We can chat on IG on Instagram if you want.
Hey, Tony at Kettle Kitchen.
Your tomatoes in the shade actually did better than ones in the full sun. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
totally hear you.
Yep. I learned that about where we're at too. Our sun can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, so kill it and grill it. Are you on? I know where you are, and I'm just wondering if you're in like a prairie or flatter area where you get a lot of sun. You may need a shade cloth.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Shadow Scout Swede.
What's possible? Hey there.
You may, Barb. Barb, we're not going to let you do that. Don't worry. We'll figure something out.
I'm right there with you though, Barb. I'm not quite sure how that's why I'm fall gardening.
Start looking for sales on meat that you can put away for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
if it's in your freezer, I would think you could use it.
You're still not buying anything.
Because you're not buying it during
Deviates a
that
little
month.
bit from the intention, but that's okay.
Yeah, maybe can some chicken,
Mm-hmm.
can some beef.
I'm thinking I need to be prepared to make all of the recipes for things that, my husband might want to get somewhere else.
Yep, yep, absolutely. It's funny because Barb is, Barb, we're in the same on the opposite. We have all the meat. We don't have all the vegetables. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where we struggle.
Yep.
Extremely hot this year. I'm in the valley in Nebraska, mostly irritating farm ground. Totally get it. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, maybe some kind of shade cloth would help,
Yeah, it's been a hot year.
especially since because I think there's a window on tomatoes. Leanne at the Mennonite farmhouse always tells me about it, and like, of course, I only remember the low part because we never get to the highest part.
Yeah.
But I know one of the things is like if it gets below 50 degrees, they're not doing much,
Mm-hmm.
and that's our problem. But you have the opposite where you're at the higher end. You may want to look into that.
Yeah. Yeah, fishing, Barb.
Absolutely. And kill it and grill it said irrigated farmland, farm ground. Got it.
Oh.
Yeah. That's irritating though.
Do you have to clean the ditches for the irrigation there? Oh my gosh. When we had an irrigated property, we had to clean the ditches for the irrigation, and it was noxious. But I did love the irrigation. You just never know when you're going to get it. So if you're scheduled to get it at 3 in the morning, you get up at 2:30 in the morning to get ready for that irrigation.
Wow.
That's how it works in Arizona when you're on irrigation. I don't know how it is everywhere else.
Yeah, that's awesome, Barb. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yep. You're going to do it, Barb. You're going to surprise yourself and you're going to be amazed.
Yep. And if you don't do it perfectly, you're still going to come out of it learning something from that.
Yep. It's okay. It's not, it's just a friendly thing. Nobody's going to ask you to
Yeah.
starve.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing to be aware of how much food you're going to eat in a month.
It's going to be a good learning experience.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We are at the top of the hour. Does anybody have any questions or anything else they want to run by us before we go ahead and close today?
Kill It and Grill It said they're running 2,100 gallons a minute of water on the corn
Holy
right now. Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. And yes, Barb, start fishing.
I've heard that for Arizona, Colorado, I don't know if New Mexico is involved, California, they are putting in new water restrictions. I don't know what that's going to mean for our farmers here. I don't know. I've been hearing about a lot of things going on in other countries with the farms and restrictions and taxes causing them to just shut down. And we're in a food shortage, so that's kind of scary.
Y'all have a good one, Gear Griden.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Everybody, next week, the live will be on Lisa's channel, Yogi Hollow Farm. I am not sure if I'm going to be there or not. I will tell everybody that right offhand. I kind of don't think that I am, to tell you the truth. I'm pretty sure that what we have to do, I'm not going to be able to join the live while we're doing it. But I will definitely try to listen. I think I'll be able to listen in and maybe be in the chat, but I don't know that I'll be able to chat with you all. But
we got this. Thank
you, Lisa. Thank you all for your patience with me. I am just a couple of weeks away from being able to tell everybody what the heck has been going on.
Sorry.
Be excited to be able to do that. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great week. And Lisa, anything you want to chime in?
Y'all have a good one.
We'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.